Hey everyone, welcome back to Digital Moms, the channel where I help moms and beginners learn how to design confidently using Canva. Today's tutorial is all about creating a branded social media post completely from scratch. By the end of the video, you'll know exactly how to choose the right size for your post, how to use Canva's free tools and elements to build your design, how to add brand colors, fonts, and logo, and how to export it so that it looks perfect for Instagram, Facebook, or anywhere else that you want to share it. This tutorial is perfect if you're running a small business, launching a side hustle, or just want your personal posts to look much more professional. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any of the new Canva tutorials that I release every week. So let's jump in. I'm going to start by opening Canva and then on the left clicking Create a Design. And Canva gives you tons of preset sizes for different platforms, and for social media, a square post at 1080 by 1080 pixels works for pretty much everything, such as Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it. So that's one of my favorites. So I'm just gonna go with the Instagram 4x5 post for now, and I'm gonna get a blank white canvas. I really like starting clean because it makes it easier to focus on the overall look and the brand we're trying to build. Canva does have a lot of pre-made templates though, and they're all beautiful, but today we're just going to learn how to build something from scratch so you can really understand how to fit these pieces together. So the first thing you want to think about is the background. So on the left-hand side, I'm going to scroll down here and then click on background. Now you can keep it simple with the solid colors at the top. So maybe I want to go with this reddish pink tone here. It's nice, but maybe I want to try something with a little more dimension. For that, if you click on the canvas button, Canva also has gradients, like this soft blue and purple one right here. Gradients work really well because they feel polished without necessarily being too busy. If you'd rather use a photo background, you can also go to the search bar here and type in something like abstract or neutral background, and you could get maybe a soft beige texture, which is super subtle, but it also gives the post some warmth. So you have plenty of photos to choose from here. Now, if you already have brand colors, this is probably where you want to use them. So maybe you can click on the color picker and then enter a custom hex, such as EE7573. So now you get this nice light pink color, and that's one of my personal favorite brand colors, but if you don't have brand colors yet, that's okay. Just pick 2 or 3 colors that you love and stick with them so that your posts feel more consistent. For now, I'm going to go with a black background, and then I'm going to go up to my images tab here and choose a random image of my choice, maybe a sunset one. I'm going to resize it so that it fits my screen. And then I'm going to decrease the transparency so that it kind of blends into that blacker background and allows for our text, which is our next step, to pop more. So now to add text, I'm going to click on text, and then I'm going to click add a heading. For this, let's say maybe the post is going to be about productivity tips. So I'll type 5 tips for morning routines. Now this is really small and barely visible, and in order to make it bigger, I can first recenter it and then drag the corner so that it fits the screen significantly better. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with a font of my choice. One of my favorites, especially in this situation, is League Spartan, because it really allows any kind of title to pop. And I'm going to auto caps it just so that the message is more clear. And lastly, I'm going to make it white so that it doesn't blend in with our black background. I feel like the letters are a little smushed together here, so I'm also going to click on advanced settings and change the letter spacing by about 60. Font choice here does make a huge difference, so it's very important to keep in mind. And Canva has hundreds of options, but the key is to keep it clean. So I like to use one bold font for headings and one clean, simple font for smaller text. So I went with this bold sans serif font, League Spartan, for the title, and I want to add a smaller subheading, which will maybe say, read more on the blog. I would make this text slightly bigger, but maybe not as big as our title so that we don't take attention away from it. And I find that Libre Baskerville pairs very well with League Spartan and that they complement each other, so I'm gonna go with this font combo right here. I'm gonna keep the size small and kind of just align it with the headline. Canva does have a lot of fun text effects too, so if I click on the headline and then I go to effects, I can add a shadow, an outline, or even just a glowing background. I really like the simple lift effect because it makes the letters pop without necessarily being too distracting. And of course, you can adjust the intensity when you do this. At this point, the design is looking okay, but it does need a little more personality. So here's where Canva elements kick in. And sometimes your text will need a shape behind it to help it stand out. So I'm gonna go search for square in our elements tab. I'm gonna change it to a black for now. You can also right click and then send it backwards so that the text stays on top. In my situation, it adjusted automatically, but just in case it doesn't, that's always an option. Notice how the words pop so much more now. Canva also has lines, arrows, and fun little doodles that can make a design feel polished. You can add maybe a thin underline below the call to action by searching for line and stretching it across. And it's always these small touches that'll make your design feel more cohesive. So one of my favorite design choices is to decrease the transparency of my background layer a little bit, but I also want to add an outline. So I'm going to copy paste my original background layer, and then I'm going to make a new one with an outline, but I'm going to adjust the actual color of this new one to be blank, and then change the outline color to have definition, so that all we have is an outline but not necessarily anything on the inside. Now it looks like our title and our text are popping out a lot more while also acknowledging the background and kind of blending in together super well. So now let's talk a little bit about layering. Right now I have a shape, some text, and a few elements stacked on each other, and if something gets hidden, you can right click and bring it forward or send it backward, which is how you can control which piece sits on top. Also, one of my favorite tips is animate. So this is one of Canva's great options. You can click on animate right here, and then you can animate any specific element from your design to make them more aesthetic or visually pleasing. Personally, for my background text, I really like the wipe option because it looks professional and kind of matches the theme. Before we export, I do want to show you how to create multiple versions of the same design. So up at the top, you can click duplicate page. And maybe if you want to make a copy of your design, you can go up to File, and then you can scroll down until you see Make a Copy. This is a huge time saver if you're planning a week's worth of content and you're looking for different templates and you kind of want to start with a base that you had already built. And once you're finished, of course, you can click Share at the top right corner and then click Download. And Canva will suggest PNG, which is a high quality image format perfect for social media. So I can click download and save it to my computer now. And just like that, you've created a fully branded social media post in Canva completely from scratch. If you followed along, let me know in the comments what kind of posts you're making. Are they for a business, a personal brand, or just for fun? Thanks so much for spending time with me today. I can't wait to see what you create with Canva. I'll see you in episode 8.